What you see in today's world, all the chaos, all the crazy behavior, is the repercussions, comes from the repercussion of the enemy, the repercussion of power and control, the repercussions of slavery. When you enslaving people, kidnapping people, forcing them to be slaves, when you're colonizing countries, taking people's identity away from them, forcing them to a way of life that's not their own, drafting a society, making us pay for things that God already gave us. So today we're living in the repercussions of the enemy, the repercussion of the enemy. So all the chaos, all the behavior, every country that has been colonized, look at them now. Every country that has been colonized, look at them now. What would happen if none of this ever happened? If slavery never existed, if countries was not colonized, people would be in their original state. Their original state, they will be indigenous to their own country, their own land. And everybody in the land had their own religion. They'll be in their original state. I want you guys to think about this. What happened before colonization? What happened? What happened before there was forced slavery? Forced slavery. Now, I'm not talking about the slavery where the word slavery is really employee. I'm talking about forcing you to be a slave, taking your rights away. What if none of this ever happened? You will be indigenous to your land, speaking your own language, had your own religion. But when you have colonizers, and then Jesus was correct, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and lie, and cheat. So Jesus comes from a bloodline. The devil comes from a bloodline, and you guys need to know who these people are and wake up and realize what they did. So right now, we're living in a drafted society. Got us in love with money, paying for things, materialistic things, knowing that these things rust, they rot, and they get old. And we know that we come in this world with nothing, we leave out this world with nothing, but we're stressing to get things in this world, material things, which are nothing, have no value. But when we was in our original state, we depended on God. Every indigenous person had their own religion and depended on God. Whatever your religion is, whatever you call God, that's what you call God. Probably the same God. Whatever you called God, you called God. You had your own religion. So who took you out of your natural state and got you depending on their way of life? Because you was depending on God. Wherever you lived at, you was depending on God and the resources of God. You was depending on God. You was not, stressed out, working 24 hours a day, 40 hours a week. Your old people were happy. You have family. So who took you out your original state? Who took you out of your original state when you just depend on God? Everybody was their own Adam and Eve. Who took you away from depending on God? So now you're not resting. You just trying to figure out how I'm going to pay these bills. Is that life? You think God put you on the planet to live like that? That is not life. Power and control. Power and control. Remember, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and he's a liar. He's a cheater. He's a liar and a cheater. So look at the bloodline. There's a bloodline here. And so whatever authority that you're living by, either you're going to be living by the authority of God or you're living by the authority of the evil one. Is it imaginary? No, it's not imaginary. You actually see it. You're living in it. Who is influencing you to live like this? Think about it. I'm not going to give you all the answers. I want you to think about it because you know who these people are. You know who these people are. And don't go by color. It's not a black or white thing. It is a certain bloodline. It's a certain bloodline. And they've been doing this since the beginning of time. How do we know they've been doing this from the beginning of time? Because every indigenous person has went through it. Look at the indigenous people who are left on Earth, who have not got colonized, who are left on Earth. Look at how they live. Look how they depend on God. So what you see today, you see the consequences of slavery, the consequence of colonization. You see the consequences of somebody dictating to you and saying, you got to live by my way or my standards. And if you don't live by my standards, I'm going to make it difficult for you. Because they want power and control. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.